All right, what's up? What's up? Hope the signal's good here at the pool. Live right now, we're going to do some Q&A and also do some. Hey, Divya, what's up? Darrell, what's up? Yeah, we're going to do some Q&A. Also, talk about like some content. I always want to ask the community about any type of new content ideas that y'all might want me to do, because today's Thursday. I'll be filming Saturday, so this is the best time to ask me, because then I can take that into consideration when making some videos. Um, if y'all didn't notice on Instagram, I have a bot. So it's some and it's me and the bot working at the same time. So usually it's the first message that goes out, that's a bot, but then anything beyond that isn't a bot. Because I know some people have been asking about that. And the reason I set it up that way is just to start a conversation. And one of those conversation starters that I ask when people engage into my content, especially if you like or just like comment something, is first I always say thank you for liking the post and interacting, but what is things that you want to see? You know what I'm saying? And I do that because I really want to know exactly what more type of content y'all like to see, so I can continue to make more. Because I know people have some value when I make like obviously like the vegan stuff and the plant-based things. But what else would you like to see? Because I do make content on work. I can make content on working out. Um, as I've spoken about yesterday, I'm moving more into the business niche. So I can make content talking about how to grow your social media account, if that's something that you're interested in, or any type of social media account, really. When it comes to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, I can help you grow that. It all falls in within similar lines of Instagram, but I could definitely help y'all with that and make content on that type of stuff. The professionalism is great. Keep it up. Hey, thank you for that. Also, as well, I could talk about stocks, because I do play the stock market, and I made thousands of dollars off the stock market, especially during these times. So I can help y'all with that. That's something I don't really talk about. I don't even show it a lot on my social media account. I really just keep it to myself. But I've worked with some of the best stock traders out there. One of them, his name's Tay Sweat. So I've been in his program for, I want to say, maybe like 3 years, and he's taught me a lot. And that's things I could talk about as well. Is like even just the basics, like just getting set up your brokerage account and starting small. Like you don't need a lot of money to play the stock market. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the more money you have, the better. But you don't need a lot if you want to start investing in the stocks, because the stock market is better than the banks, man. Tell you the truth. Like you put your money in a bank account or savings. I mean, you'd be lucky if you could find anything like around 4 or 5, maybe even 6% interest, and that's within one whole entire year, just to keep your money untouched in that savings account. Versus in the stock market, by average, if you just put it into like an index fund, you could make at least 10%, and that's the minimum. And I've made way more than 10%. I'll tell you that. I played stocks where I made over 180 to 200% of my trades. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a great investment. It's one way to really build your money a lot faster. And there is some risk when you play, like there's certain ways that you play, like if you did like option trading. That's what I do a lot of option trading. Now option trading is very risky, it's very high risk, but it's also a high reward. So it's one of those things where, if you're not afraid to lose, then you'll be good to win. But you need to know the knowledge to make sure that your wins covers the losses. All right, because you don't want to lose all your money, for sure, because you could lose everything like that. Like that's how options are. It's such a high risk. But even during these times where you might be seeing online where playing the stocks are down and it's the recession and all that stuff, I'm telling you, you could play with those fears. And when I say that, I mean that when the stock markets is crashing, it's going down, you can bet that the stock's going down. You know what I'm saying? You could play against the stock market. Not like on average, all stocks usually goes up unless certain companies just go out of business or it just sucks. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest, I've had some losses in stocks that I thought it was going to go up. Like, for example, if everyone knows I'm vegan, I played Beyond Meat, man, but I got in Beyond Meat a little too late. And because that stock market, especially around like the 2020, 21, that stock reached up to $300 per share, and a little bit more. And then what ended up happening is, like, once the vegan trend kind of started sizzling out, that shit dropped from 300, which I never thought that was going to happen, now to like a $3 stock. It's like $3 per share. I mean, I still got some plays in it because I'm crossing my fingers that hopefully they figure the shit out and be able to get their stocks up again. And because if you invest now in $3, I mean, I don't think Beyond's going to go out of business, but I do feel there's going to be a time where it's going to bounce back. I still believe it's going to bounce back eventually, and when it does, then it's going to be great. But right now, it's like it's kind of trash right now. If you play some shares and you have like extra money, you want to throw it in there, buy a couple shares, and just cross your fingers like I do. What I'm doing now, you can. But like for me, it's not like my primary stock. It's just like it's like you have different types of stocks. For example, I have one that has high vitality. So I play with Tesla, Meta, what else? Tesla, Meta, Amazon, Google. What else? I think also I'm playing. What else am I playing? Lululemon. These have very high vitality, so I play those stocks because first they're tech and clothing brands. Like even Lululemon, I wear a lot of Lululemon, so it is like one of my favorite stocks that I like to play because I'm a fan of Lululemon as well. But it has high vitality, meaning that it moves very aggressively. So it goes up and down all the time throughout the year. So those are where I really make a majority of my money. But then when it comes down to like, certain stocks, like that's like it's my favorite. I'm a fan, but hopefully it goes up eventually. But if not, whatever, if I lose it, I lose it. Right now, that's like Beyond. I have a few other stocks like that, but like Beyond is one of them. So just to let y'all know. So if y'all want me to talk about that type of stuff, I can for sure. You know what I mean? Darrell says, I want to understand more on how to find foods that will get my balanced micronutrients as plant-based. I would like that stock market info as well. Drop some gems on it. No doubt. So when it comes down to the micronutrients, there's multiple ways of finding that out. Now, one way and the way I teach my students and my clients is basically using MyFitnessPal. So within my program, we use MyFitnessPal a lot. It's literally the backbone of the program. Like, you have to use it. If not, it's not going to work for you. And second, like, technically, it, you're not going to get the results. I mean, people that's not using MyFitnessPal, like, I literally tell them, like, you're not going to get great results, because MyFitnessPal is a great application to keep track of everything that you're actually consuming. Okay, so it's like a journal for food. And then what you want to do is start plugging in the foods that you're eating, so you can see all the micronutrients that you're actually getting into your body. Now, MyFitnessPal is only going to show you a few micronutrients like potassium, iron, calcium, vitamin A, vitamin C, which is your primary ones, right? They're most important ones. Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can download Chronometer. Chronometer goes very in depth with every single vitamin and mineral, because there's a lot, like copper, zinc, your B vitamins, selenium, and the list goes on and on, right? So with that, you can go through there and check. Now, one thing you want to do is that's going to really help bring up your micronutrients on a plant-based diet is making sure that you are eating a whole foods plant-based diet, right? It's silly that it sounds, but it's the facts. And the reality is that you want to make sure that you're eating a good amount of volume, right? Like, I always talk about volume eating, right? And when I talk about volume eating means that foods that's low in calories but nutrient dense, right? And you're going to get a lot of food out of it as well. And the thing with, like, for example, like dark leafy greens, right? If we're talking about dark leafy greens, for example, like spinach, to get like the optimal amount of, because spinach is a high source of vitamin A, right? It's a significant source of vitamin A, and it has some iron as well, but not a lot of iron. More of vitamin A. It's more of a vitamin A source, right? Which helps with protection of your skin and radical damage, right? So to get that good amount, like, you want to eat about at least 1 cup, but not 1 cup of the American cup, because 1 cup is like what, you could fit 5 or 10 pieces of spinach leaves in a cup. That's not going to cut it. So you want to start weighing out your foods for certain foods like that. So what would be more equivalent to a cup of spinach is going to be about 81 grams. So this is like a big bowl of spinach, right? That's going to really help you optimize your vitamin A levels. And this is just an example. So this is where you're going to really figure out how you're getting all the micronutrients you need by using those apps. Now, another way you could do it too, and it's a little cheat, but we got AI, right? We got ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT a lot. So when it comes to using AI and ChatGPT, let's say you don't want to spend any money on MyFitnessPal or Chronometer, or you don't want to download it, or it's too difficult for you to use, whatever the case can be, right? Whatever reason, you just don't want to use it. But you want to use pen and paper instead. So what you could do is write down with a pen and paper all the foods you eaten, and then you could put it into ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT, if you ever used it before, it's basically like a search engine. It's like you can ask it whatever it wants. So it's not that complicated. It's like you go on Google, you type in whatever you want, it spits out all the shit that you're looking for, right? Same shit here. So you could write down your meal plan, or all the meals you've eaten, put it into ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, or what, out of all the meals I've eaten today, I eaten this. Can you tell me all the vitamins, minerals I'm getting from this, and if I'm lacking, let me know. And it will go through everything that you've written down of all the foods you're eating, and it'll tell you exactly if you're missing something in those meals, if you're lacking certain vitamins and minerals in those meals, or everything's good to go, if that makes sense. Okay, that's another hack that you can do. And truthfully, I don't think a lot of fitness influencers is even teaching these things yet, because they're not, because ChatGPT and AI is so new. Like, people are right now, people are using it at an infant stage level. They're not using it for bigger things. And I've started using it even in my meal plans. So what I would do is I create my meal plan for my clients. I'll throw it right into ChatGPT, have it double check for it, and if it's lacking something, then I go ahead and fulfill whatever nutrients is lacking. So regardless what my Fitness Pal says, regardless what Chronometer says, the AI double checks my meal plans before I provide it to my clients, and let me know if it's lacking or if it's really good to go. Because my protocols and my program is hypernourishment, and I'm just trying to use the technology that we have today to make my meal plans even more powerful. All right, so hopefully hopefully, Darrell, that actually helped you out. All right. um and I see the chat jumping on Darrell, like plant-based. Don't be so mean to Darrell. Like, he's asking an innocent question, and but you're kind of right. There is a lot, but it. I could sit here and talk about that all day, but it's mostly whole foods, like single ingredient foods, like pretty much anything you see in that produce section. That's majority of your vitamins and minerals right there. All right. And then majority is right there in that produce section. Your vitamins and minerals are all right there. Sandy said full support from Barcelona. Hey, thanks a lot. What's up? Where are you? Looks nice. This is my home. I'm at the pool area right now at my house. I'm by a swimming pool too. Hey, nice. All right, so let's see what else is going on. But yeah, let me know what else y'all if y'all have any more questions that y'all want to ask, or any type of content y'all want me to make. Like I said before, coming out with some new content next week. Well, sometime this week, some of the new content should be coming out, hopefully by this week or next week. But I'm going to be making more soon. Yeah, I live in Miami. Yeah, this isn't a hotel. Yeah, this is just how Miami is, man. Yeah, yeah, it's just my home. This is where I live. So yeah, this isn't a hotel. You know, how do you season tofu? From Chad on YouTube. So simple, man. Like, truthfully, like I've lately I've been eating tofu by itself, right? So you don't even have to cook it. Number one, um, it's because tofu's already pre-cooked technically. To make it how it is, you have to like you have to do some concoction to it, and then and press it to get the tofu. There's not even cooking involved. It's just like it's just a natural process thing that they do. But to season it, you could just use, like, I personally use liquid aminos, which is like a soy sauce, right? But it's made from but it has more like amino acids, and it's coming from more of an organic source. So I get the one from Bragg's, and it's called liquid aminos. So it has some I mean, obviously it's called that because it has amino acids in there, and it's a better brand than just your typical soy sauce. It's like a vegan's go-to when it comes to that. So you can always use that. You can buy that, get that at any grocery store, technically. And then technically with tofu, you could season it with anything. Yeah, that I'm just telling you like the basic. Like if you just want to go like very basic, very plain. That's what I've been doing lately. It's just that, just a little bit of soy sauce right out the package, eat it. You know, I chop it in little blocks, dip it, eat it, just like that. But you know, I have recipes online where I've used it for making tofu scramble. So that requires a little bit more seasoning. So like that requires black pepper, turmeric, um, nutritional yeast, black salt, and I think that's it. And then after that, I use other ingredients that comes with the tofu scramble, like bell peppers, onions, garlic, and mushrooms and spinach, and I stir fry all that together. And then you have your tofu scramble, which is another equivalent to like scrambled eggs. That's what it's supposed to be, like an alternative to scrambled eggs. Because when I used to eat animal byproducts and when I used to eat eggs, I would do the same. Like the only difference was I wasn't using a lot of onions, peppers, garlic. So I'll just use a little bit more of it as a garnish. And then and there was times I wouldn't use spinach, you know, just the bell pepper, onions, and garlic with some salt and pepper, and then I would add like cheese, and then just like maybe crack like 4 or 6 eggs and make it right. And then you have a scrambled egg, right? Or I can make it into an omelet. Now with the tofu, the reason I add more veggies is because once I started learning about vitamins and minerals on a plant-based diet, I realized that first of all, these garnishes are very powerful foods. You know, very powerful, especially in vitamins and minerals and what they do for the body. So, for example, like mushrooms is really good for the brain. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good natural source of B12. So then just using one or two, I use a whole cup and chop them up. Then you have the bell pepper. Then just using, you know, a quarter of a bell pepper and just making my omelet look healthy. Now I use a whole bell pepper because one whole bell pepper, or at least 100 grams, you could get about 300% of your daily value of vitamin C, which helps with inflammation, helps with recovery, helps boost up your immune system so you don't get sick. That's why I'm never sick, because I eat bell pepper every single day, at least 100 grams every single day. And then the same thing goes with the spinach. Spinach is good for your skin. Great vitamin A source. So then just using a little bit, now I'm using about 81 grams of spinach. And I'm not even trying to flex on people, but like I always get compliments on my skin. People are like, man, how you have such great skin, X, Y, and Z. And I just tell them, like, you know, look, you have to treat the inside just as good as the outside. You know what I'm saying? So I don't use a bunch of creams and Acme lotions and special soaps and nothing. I don't use none of that shit. Only thing I use for my skin is coconut oil. That is it. That is it. That's the only thing I use is coconut oil. And I shave my body maybe every 2 or 3 days, you know, and you know, shaving is a good natural exfoliator when you shave. So every time you shave your skin, it takes out all the dead skin. And that's something a lot of people don't know. So, and some men don't like doing it because they think it's a little feminine. Some men just like hair on their body. I used to be these guys. I used to like hair on their body. But, you know, once I got into bodybuilding, then I started shaving it, because in bodybuilding, you learn that, first of all, when you shave, you look better. You look cleaner and you look better. And then if you have a lot of muscle, you can see it more. Like you see everything. So I shave everything. You know what I'm saying? When I say everything, I mean everything. Like even where the sun don't shine, I shave that too. I shave everything. You know what I'm saying? And it helps. And then when I did some research, which the shaving is seen like, hey, is it good to shave every day as a man and stuff like that? Some of the research said like, yeah, because it's a natural exfoliator, and it makes sense because you're literally taking a razor and you're shaving your skin. You're shaving the hair and it's brushing against the skin lightly, not enough to where it's cutting the skin, obviously, but it's taking that small little layer of skin, and it's taking out that dead skin off your body, and it allows your body to regenerate new skin cells a lot faster every time you do it. And I've been doing that for the past 11 years. You know what I'm saying? And truthfully, I love it. I look cleaner. I feel cleaner. My you can see my muscles. Like you see the definition. It looks good. Some girls really like it. My girlfriend, she loves it. Fernanda, she loves it. So it's a good thing. But that's what I do. And then for my face, I don't use coconut oil. I use this beard oil by Betty's Natural. Okay. Now, you might be asking why you use a beard oil. You don't have any. You don't even have a beard. Well, the beard oil isn't just for your beard. It's also good for the pores of your hair. So like, I shave my head, and I shave like I have like a stash here and a little goatee here, right? So if I grew it out, it would be here and here. And some of y'all who've been following me for a long time saw when I grew like my stash and my little goatee. You know what I'm saying? And I rocked it for about a whole year and shit. But with that beard oil by Betty's Natural, it actually helps to hydrate the pores of the hair follicles, and this prevents me from getting hair bumps. I used to suffer from hair bumps, especially underneath the chin. And once I started using that, she was like, yeah, the hair bumps is from irritation, but also lack of hydration. It's too dry. And she said with a coconut oil, it's too thick for your face because the skin, your skin on your body is obviously one organ, right? But parts of the body is more sensitive to the other, right? And I think most men and women will understand that, right? so like when it comes to here, this was like a very sensitive area. So I'll use the Betty's Natural, and that helped with keeping the skin very hydrated, and then allowed me to shave and reduce the irritations of the skin. And also with my head too, because I'll be honest, there was a long time I never used a razor on my head until I got to my mid 30s, and that's when I started using Betty's Natural. And I used to get hair irritation because I always, like, even in the military, I always liked rocking a bald head. So even when I had hair, now I'm losing hair, But when I was younger, I always loved rocking the bald head, right? And there was times I grew it out, grew a fro, or especially in the military, just had like, I had the line, I would get it lined up and do like a high and tight and shit, whatever the military standards was at that time. And sometimes I would rock it, but I love like keeping it bald because it was just easier to maintain. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you live in Florida, it's a lot cooler. It's too hot to have hair, man. But again, using the razor when I was like in my 20s, even in my teens when I would shave, I would get irritation. So I never used a razor. I would use like a T liner, and some people might know what that is. It's a T liner is almost like an electric razor, but it's for lining up your hair. For sure. My color folks would know what I'm talking about, right? The Hispanics and the blacks would know exactly what I'm talking about when I say T-liners, because we're the only ones that really use them, right? So it's like, that was the only thing that would work and not irritate my skin because it wasn't because it cuts very low, but it wouldn't be too hard to the skin. But until I started using that Betty's Natural oil, and I started using the razor, and I learned like how my head, because shaving your head is one thing. And I know this guy asked about tofu. I'm talking about shaving now, but like when it came to the razor, I had to learn how the razor works on my head, so it wouldn't aggravate. So mine is just going straight back, you know, and I would use that with the Betty's Natural, and that helped a lot from the irritation. So now I just shave my head every single day because I figured out what my skin needed and the direction of the razor it should go for shaving. And for some people, especially Black people, you know, we need. It's easy for our skin to get irritated using a razor because we have hard and curly hair, you know. So what happens is that if you shave and then you get irritation, first the razor is too hard on the skin, and then when the hair starts growing, it starts to ingrow within the pore, which causes bumps, and it's hell. You know, you don't want to go through that. Trust me, I went through it a few times. It sucks. Let's see. What is your opinion on the situation in LA? If you're talking about like the whole immigration thing, like to tell you the truth, I don't know, man. Like I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what's really going on. Like I don't know the whole scenario with the whole thing. Because for me, is there's two sides to it, and I'm just talking about from what I've known. Like I really never did any type of intensive research, but I did have like one of my clients. He actually protested in it. He was giving me some things. He was telling me some things about it, which I thought which was super messed up. But you know, I know one thing is this: like if you're illegal, right, you need to find a way to become legal. You know, like you have to find out for sure. You know, like that's just how it is. You know, and the reason I say that is just because, you know, we all pay taxes here. You know what I'm saying? So the illegals aren't paying taxes, so they're living on our resources. They're taking, you know, I don't want to say taking jobs because they're not doing jobs that any American person would do anyway. So I know that for a fact. But they are doing some of the jobs that any American won't do, which is a good thing. But then the bad part is that, you know, some individuals aren't doing what they need to do to become legalized. And you know, so I don't. So you know, with that said, like I don't know, you know, because there's like two sides of it. Like, do I feel? I know this, like if someone has a family and let's say the kids are American and the mom isn't, like the mom shouldn't get snatched up by ICE or anything if the kid is American. You know, I think that's messed up, like because you're separating a family, and now this kid either has two choices: go to, you know, child protective services or go back to the country, and that's if the country allows the kid to go back with the parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. You know, I don't know. You know, I think it's one of those situations where it's tough. You know, to be honest with you, you know, it's not my field. You know, I really never did intensive research on the whole entire thing. But I know one thing: a lot of people are pissed, and if people are protesting. There's a reason. You know what I'm saying? So I just hope like things kind of fix itself out for the best. You know, like, but I don't know. You know, to be honest with you, I haven't really done so much research on that. Um, let's see. So thank you for your service. No problem. Let's see. All right. Santi said, recommend to buy a Thermomix. It has a lot of vegan recipes on the kettle. I mean, I think you mean a Vitamix, right? I think that's what you mean. Someone said they love the Max. Max said love the fact-based videos. No doubt. Thank you. All right, let me know if you have any other questions. Uh, Lily says, "Do you eat egg whites?" No, I personally don't eat eggs. You know, I eat a plant based diet. You know, that's just me. But if you want to eat eggs, it's fine. You know, it's like it's healthy. You know what I mean? But me personally, no, I don't eat eggs. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Let me know if you have any other questions. But yeah, I mean, talking. What's your thoughts on copper? I mean, copper's a good. You know, copper's good for you for sure. You know, and you know because like what copper does, it helps with the blood cells. It's good for blood cells. Good for iron absorption. Um, and you know, without copper, it can lead to anemia. So it is something that you definitely want to have in your body. Also, it helps maintaining neurological function as well. So so copper does have some great benefits, and some foods that are high in copper is going to be uh it's going to be like you know, you have like your meats. So you have like tuna, eggs, and then which is high in, which is high in copper. But then you have some whole foods as well, like almonds, whole grains, kiwis, and beans, which is a good source of copper as well. All right. So you definitely want to make sure you're getting some copper, and then also copper helps with reduced risks of Alzheimer's disease as well. So it's really good for you, man. And if you're not eating any of these type of foods, or you don't know if you're getting enough, for sure, you could get a supplement with copper in it, like a multivitamin has copper. So if you just take any type of multivitamin, I highly recommend taking what's it called? Shoot, it's like a liquid multivitamin. It's called Love. Man, what is it? Alive. Yeah, it's called Alive by I think it's by Nature's Valley. And if you get that, you know, if you take that, like you'll get your copper. So you know, you could definitely do something like that. Liz says, "What about non-fat Greek yogurt?" Like if I eat it, no. Like I eat a plant-based diet, so that means that a diet that requires no animal byproducts. You know, so anything like dairy, fish, eggs, like cheese, meat, pork, tuna, I don't eat. You know, I eat mostly whole food, plant-based diet. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I do. But you know, Greek yogurt is healthy. You know what I'm saying? If you want to talk about the health things about it, yeah, it's healthy. Great source of protein for sure. You get some. It's a good pre and probiotic. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I don't do it. You know, because it's like for example, a lot of people say wine is good for you, right? Because it has a lot of antioxidants and polyphenols, right? But you know, the thing is that I can get polyphenols and probiotics from other sources of foods that doesn't have an intoxicating effect either, and not have to worry about messing up my liver. You know what I'm saying? So that's you know that's why I don't do dairy, because there like when you kind of look when you for me in particularly is like with dairy products, like majority of the world is lactose intolerant. About 80%, 70 to 80% of the world is considered lactose intolerant. And for me, I don't I don't feel like I need to play that. I don't have to eat it. And I've had digestive issues when I used to eat dairy anyways. You know what I'm saying? So back in the days when I used to eat dairy, I would have bloating issues. And till this day, a lot of people complain about bloating who consumes dairy, even Greek yogurt. But as you can see, it's some of the top foods that's sold in the US, you know what I'm saying? Which is contradicting. And the thing is that people love dairy so much, like people that even has a slight intolerance to it, or is a lactose intolerance, they'll still consume it because it's so good. You know what I mean? But for me, in particularly, I just don't do it because it creates a lot of digestive issues for me. It always has, regardless. So trust me, when I first went plant based, like it was one of the first things I had to drop. But the thing I did miss was cheese, you know. But you know, in the plant-based world, plant-based cheeses has stepped up their game a lot. So there's some good cheeses now, but I've been plant-based for so long. I've been plant-based for over 13 years. So I've been doing it for so long, and since I started off with like just the basic stuff without all the alternatives and processed foods, like I majority eat non-processed foods. Like a lot of the foods I eat is single ingredient foods, and I don't buy a lot of the process unless I'm making some like a special dish. So, for example, every other weekend I would make pizza. I mean, pizza ain't good without no cheese. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that for a fact. So I would get the vegan cheese from Daya. I not Daya. Sorry, from Miyoko's. I get the vegan pizza cheese from Miyoko's and use that on my pizzas and make some delicious pizzas. You know what I mean? But that's the only time I would technically use it. I won't use it on a regular dish or with my tofu scrambles. Like I made recipes with it, like throw some cream cheese in there, like the Miyoko's cream cheese, which is a plant-based version cream cheese. I'll do that. Or I made a recipe with a sausage, egg, bagel with some cream cheese inside. And I made it, and it's rare if I do it. Maybe a bagel, cream cheese, and jelly. Because that used to be one of my favorites when I was a lot younger. But I just been plant based for such a long time that you just get you you get used to just eating how like naturally, really, without all the processed shit. And then when you start understanding more about the nutrient density of foods and the benefits of it, like you start leaning more into the healthier foods anyways, because when you're eating more consciously because you know so much. So you start enjoying eating healthier because you know the benefits. So and that's something I teach a lot of my students too, is like, when you don't know, when you don't have a lot of knowledge on foods, you eat how you eat because more for taste and pleasure, right? But the more you start eating, then you start eating more of what you know here from intelligence, and then that becomes more of a priority versus pleasure and taste. Not saying that you would never eat junk food again or eat some of your favorite comfort foods. It's just that you'll eat very less of it because you just understand, like, there's no real value of eating that as frequently versus eating healthy, if that makes sense. So my name is Beverly. I'm 63 years old. My weight is 240 pounds. I tried everything. So tell me about your CMOS. I think you mean CMOS that you are using. All right. So with the CMOS, the CMOS has over 90 to I think 108 different types of minerals in there, right? So it's really good for that. Number one. Also, it helps with bloating too, right? Now, if you're 240 pounds and let's say, you know, I would assume that you're trying to lose body fat and trying to lose weight. I mean, CMOS isn't like a magic pill. It's not like a magic supplement. It's not gonna like help you. It'll aid with weight loss, but it's not gonna like help you lose weight. Like you, oh, if I eat this and then continue eating what I eat, I want to just lose weight. It doesn't work that way. If you're trying to lose body fat, you need to be in a calorie deficit. So it's like if I took the CMOS with with multivitamins and supplements, plus being on a deficit, like it's more beneficial because the deficit is primarily what's going to help you lose the weight, but the supplements that you're taking is just going to add more nutrients into your body. Okay, so it's just two different things. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it's healthy for you, but and it can aid with weight loss, but it's not going to help you lose actual weight. Like to lose actual weight, you need to be in the deficit, right? Because there's a lot of things that can aid with weight loss. Like caffeine can aid with weight loss because it suppresses the appetite, right? But if you're still eating over the suppressants, you know, it's not going to work. You know, if you're eating too many calories, it's not going to work. So if you're trying to be in a deficit, then, you know, and you probably showed up pretty late on this live, but you want to use the application called like MyFitnessPal or Chronometer, log in all the meals that you're eating, see how many calories that you're eating first. And then that's going to tell you like exactly how much energy you're eating, right? Because we have to understand what energy is. Energy is a unit of heat, right? So even me in the sun is producing energy. That's heat, you know? So if I had a solar panel, what I'm getting, solar energy. Does that make sense? So when it comes to food, what are calories? Calories is a unit of heat, right? So this is how we measure energy when it comes to food. And then what is body fat? Body fat is stored energy. It's energy that's not being metabolized yet, right? So if you have 240 pounds and you're 63 years old, that means you're storing a lot of energy in your body, right? So that's why you need to be in a deficit and start eating less energy because the energy is already in you. You probably feel like you don't got energy, right? I know the feeling. Like you probably feel like, man, I don't got it. I have all this energy. I don't feel like I have energy. I get it, but the reality is that you have to be in a deficit so your body can start metabolizing the stored energy, and then you're going to start losing fat. Okay, so you can still buy the CMOS, but you need to be in a deficit so you can actually see true results. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully that makes sense. And just your first time on the profile, hey, no doubt. You know, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helped you out. And you know, if you need help, you could always DM me or message me on Facebook, and I could send you a guide. Or you know, if you were looking for professional help, I could write you a meal plan. You know what I'm saying? So you take out all the guesswork and just follow that meal plan. Is going to help you lose the body fat really fast. My clients, they can lose about 10 to 20 pounds in 1 month. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to just like, hey, Corinne, listen, I like what I'm hearing. I'm tired of doing all the research. I'm ready to invest in myself. Like, just hit me up and I can write you a meal plan. But if you want like a free guide, you want to start off with something free and just like with a free guide with some more tips and tricks, I can give you that too. You know what I'm saying? And that can help you out. So I need a full shopping list from my guy. Yeah, no doubt. Like it's something I could do. I could definitely create a shopping list for sure. What's the best time to get out in the sun? Well, by textbook, definitely not this time. I'm telling you that because like I have a UV on my Apple Watch. I have the UV levels, and right now it's like a 9, which is very high. So you don't supposed to come out during this time. This is when the UV levels and radiation is at its highest. The reason I come out during this time is really because it's my break time, and also it's like, it might sound a little silly, but like I like getting a tan. And some of y'all might be like, "You're black. How you get a tan?" Well, black people, we can tan. We get different shades of black. So I like looking black, like dark black. If I don't get no sun, I look pretty light skinned. My skin starts looking like this, like my freaking hand. So if I don't get any sun, so I like that tan. And the reason I like looking dark is just because the dark you are, the more your body, like your body, when it comes to tone and definition, it pops out more because there's more contrast. This is something like, it's like a bodybuilder's thing. Also, as well, you get a lot of vitamin D. But I wouldn't advise coming out during this time. If you want to get, like, let's say, just the vitamin D benefit. That's I don't know if I lost connection or not, but what I was saying is that, yeah, you want to go out in the mornings or the evenings. This is the safest by textbook. Don't do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I I don't even know what your skin tone is, if your skin can even handle it, but you'll get fried. You know, um, and it might be a little dangerous for your skin too. And I have something called melanin, so it kind of helps me with that protection. But for sure, you want to do mornings and evenings when the UV levels are low, and it's the safest time. If you have very fair white skin, 15 minutes is all you need. Try just make sure when you're sunbathing in the morning or evenings, try to get as much skin exposed to the sun as much as possible. If you're a darker fellow or someone who's black, definitely you need to get double the dose. So you want to stay in the sun for at least 30 minutes. And the reason is because of the melanin, because the melanin, the dark skin, helps protect you from the sun rays, right? So like it's harder for people like me to get darker. So that's why we have to stay in the sun a lot longer if we're trying to get darker or trying to get vitamin D absorption. Okay. And this is like straight facts. Like, I'm not even like saying nothing racist and shit. It's just how everyone's genetically disposed differently. It's for certain things, and definitely for the environment. Um, let's see. I don't feel like I have energy. I don't feel like I want to move. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I knew you were gonna say that too, because and it wasn't even, I wasn't even trying to pick on you. Like it's just I've been doing this for a long time. Been in the fitness industry for over 15 years, and you're not the first. And every time people come up to me, it's the same thing. It's like they're overweight, and guess what? Everything hurts. They have joint pain. It's either their back hurt, their knee hurts, the joint hurts, and they lack energy. They don't feel like moving. They just want to sleep a lot. And the crazy thing is that when you start doing more things, you start getting more energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you feel like you don't want to do shit, you know. But the reality is that once you start doing it, you start getting more energy. And it's like when you're in that deficit, you're going to start feeling more energized as well. Because right now it's just like your system is overload. You know what I mean? It's like that's why you feel like lackadaisical. Like you feel lethargic because your body's just overload. It has too much weight, so it's hard for it to move. You're like being pushed to the ground, literally, from gravity. Your bones hurt, your joints hurt because of that as well, because you have unnecessary weight on your frame. But once you start eating healthier, maybe you already eat healthy, but if you start focusing more on hypernourishment foods, getting like more vitamins and minerals in your body, and then start actually being in a deficit, and then start moving your body, and you're going to feel less weight on your frame. That's going to help you be able to move more, and then you're going to feel more energized. And then when you start moving more and feeling more energized, and then you start losing the body fat and you start seeing the changes, it starts helping you more from a psychological perspective, because now you're feeling better and you're seeing results. You know what I'm saying? And when you're seeing those results, you're like, damn, like this is amazing. Like I'm finally seeing results, and that motivate. It's like a self motivation. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this iguana right here. I don't know if y'all can see it. This thing's huge, man. Just chilling in the sun. Isn't that crazy? That's Florida, man. That's Florida. But like, got iguanas chilling, walking through the pool area. Like, it's cool. All right, yeah, just hit me up. Hit me up after on this live. Definitely send me a message, and I can help you out with that meal plan for sure. Let's see. Let's see if we have any other questions going on. Let's see with Instagram. Yeah, see, going back to the dairy stuff. Yeah, Lunar said the moment I stopped dairy 10 years ago, I stopped having sinus and mucus problems. Yeah, and that's something I've heard about as well, with the increase of mucus when people consume dairy. All right, so I guess that's it. Oh, any vegan festivals coming up? Um, yeah, there's one in July. Um, First you have the one near July 4th. I think it's on July 3rd or July 5th. It's one of those two dates. But that's going to be the Vegan Block Party. That's going to be located in Fort Lauderdale. So I'll definitely be attending that. I love the Vegan Block parties. It's I think it's the only one we got now in South Florida that's actually fun and big. Yeah, it's big, it's fun. Yeah, a lot of people go to that one. A lot of great food trucks. So that's the one I will be attending. And like it says, I believe it's on the 3rd or the 5th of July. I think it's on a Sunday. I don't know. But I just know it's between those two dates. But you can check on Instagram or their website at veganblockparty.com. And then there is another one, which is it's the International Vegan Food Festival, which is going to be in Orlando. And that one, I actually put it on my Instagram. It's in my story, but I don't know what date it is. And I believe I'll be going to that one as well. That one's on July 26th. And so that's going to be on July 26th in Orlando, Florida, the International Vegan Food Festival. That one I love myself. That's like my second best one. It's almost my first. The only I want to be honest with you. The only reason it's not my first is only because it's in Orlando. Like that's the only reason, just the location. But the food is number one. I like that. I like the International Vegan Food Festival a little bit better than the Vegan Block Party, and it's not that they're both really great, but the only reason is just food wise. The International Food Festival speaks more to me because they have more international foods, things more authentic, things that you don't really find, that's hard to find. And I made videos about this before. People of color, when it comes to vegan food, sometimes it's hard to it's sometimes it's hard for some people of color to go vegan because it's like, for example, I'm from the islands, right? So I'm like part West Indian, so from the Virgin Islands. So there's a lot of Caribbean foods where once when I went vegan, I couldn't find as a vegan. You know what I'm saying? Like curry chicken, curry goat, sawfish, um, Jamaican patties. You know, because a lot of Jamaican foods and a lot of foods in the Caribbean and Jamaican like doubles and stuff like that, it is very similar, and even some would say the same exact shit, right? Um, any foods from the Caribbeans or West Indies is going to be very very similar, very very close together. It's technically almost the same. You know what I'm saying? And when I went vegan, it was hard to find vegan food. You know, especially as a West Indian, like I couldn't have a lot of my favorite dishes. There and now there's certain dishes I could have, but it's just hard to find it sometimes because especially in America, because some like for example some Caribbean places, some West Indians and Jamaican places, sometimes they cross contaminate the foods with animal byproducts just because they know what like the American islander loves, right? But you can't find it more authentic where like let's say like in Jamaica, you can find more vegan options there because you have Rastafarians, which is mostly a vegetarian vegan lifestyle. So they don't do as much cross contaminations there versus like here in America. So that was some of the problems. And at the International Food Festival, I mean, obviously time got better and it's a lot easier to find better options. But at the International Food Festival, like it's like everyone's together, and then you could have like almost anything, and I just love island food. I like international food because I like the taste of flavor. You know what I mean? Versus like and I'm even kind of ashamed that I don't make some of these recipes myself because I do a lot of like tofu scrambles and things like that. But like when I go to these international food festivals, like I'm able to have some doubles and vegan curry chicken and vegan oxtail and a whole bunch of stuff, man. Like that, I'm like, man, these are like authentic Caribbean dishes that I grew up with, and I could have a veganized version of it, like peas and rice and stuff like that. Like I could have a vegan version of it. So that's the only reason, because ethnically, it resonates to me better. Now, the Vegan Block Party is really good because it's closer, and they have good food and stuff. But it's more like it's not like a lot of like authentic foods. It's more American, you know what I mean? So, but it is closer. It is fun. That's why I'm going to both. You know what I mean? They're both great. They're both just as good. Um, but that's my take on them. Both out of all the festivals I've been to, those are the two top ones. 'Cause I've been to many vegan festivals and I spoke at a lot of them. But the Vegan Block Party and the Vegan International Food Festival right now is by far my best two. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Any other questions? I guess that's it. All right. So with that said, it was definitely great talking to everyone and being on this live, on this chat. But I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. I'm going to go back into the office, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace out.